Good morning, everybody. The topic of my paper is Children's Toy Sharing System Design from the perspective of sustainable community concept. The research is completed by cooperation of three authors, Zhong Huixian, He Yi, Chen Chaojie. Chen Chaojie is the instructor. We come from Guangdong University of Technology, China. My name is Zhong Huixian, is the reporter. This is the content of my paper, and it divided into 4 parts. The first one is introduction. The second one is research on the sector of sustainable community and problems of toy sharing among children in community. The third one is design for children's toy sharing system based on the concept of sustainable community development. And the last is conclusion. This paper mainly adopts the shared sustainable design method and theory to carry out research and design on children's toys in the community. In order to promote the sustainable development of the community, analyze the current situation, existing problems of children's toys in the sustainable community, and then make corresponding design solution and design evaluation. At last, this paper summarizes and forecasts expected sustainable lifestyle of the toy sharing system for children based on sustainable community. Through the research and design of sharing children's toys, this paper points out that sharing design of sustainable community, especially the sustainable lifestyle described in children's toy sharing design, has a promising future. This is the chapter 1, Introduction. Community is the base unit of urban management, and family is the base unit of community management. City, community, and family are inextricably connected. The problem of family are also the problem of community. The design of children's toy sharing system based on sustainable community promotes sustainable consumptions. From the perspective of human being, environment, interactive, I explore the invisible public needs of residents and in the community, and take sustainability and relationship between factors into consideration, then using system design to achieve sustainable community. The traditional business model of children's toys is purchase to use to discard, which is not sustainable. My alternative way is make the business model of children's toy recyclable, from use to sharing between residents in the community, and to reuse. In the process of recycle, the major perspective is community-central design perspective, which also called CCD. In Chapter 2, the main parts are research status of sustainable communities and problems of toy sharing among children in community. Firstly, research status of sustainable community. What is sustainable community? The main research perspective on sustainable community at present are ecological perspective, economic perspective, sociological perspective, high-tech perspective, and the commonality of their discussions mainly include promoting sustainable life, planning and reforming communities from the aspects of environment, economic, infrastructure, social equity, and so on. In 2015, the United Nations set 17 Global Situation Development Goals. The SDG 11 is Sustainable City and Communities. China's sustainable community issues mainly include environmental quality, housing quality, community service, public utilities, community management, resident relationship, and so on. the construction of sustainable communities in China is facing severe challenges. In terms of the problems mentioned above, China has issued the 13th Five-Year Plan and other community governance plans, committing to build smart communities for Chinese communities. In response to the national policy, three non-profit social organizations in China has been in cooperation to create the promotion plan of Chinese children friendly community which uphold the principle of children's priority, inclusive equity, children's participation, and maximization of community resource, making a friendly community for every child to live in. Until 2015, among the 1.4 billion people in China, children under 14 and infants account for about 400 million. And toys are indispensable playmates in the process of children's growth. The toy market has a huge development and consumption power in China. Children's toys on the current market can almost meet most needs of children's growth and entertainment. But it also causes a serious unsustainable problem of children's toys in the family, and then has a certain impact on the sustainable community. Problem 1. Children are apt to develop a psychological of setting aside old toys and seeking new ones. Problem 2. Families spend too much on children's toys. Problem 3. Children's toys are easy to pile up idle, occurring space and difficult to deal with. As for a series of problems caused by idle toys, I conducted a poll on the acceptance of idle toys through online interviews and the Hotman Gang network platform, and obtained the survey data from 148 users. 64% of objects expressed that they could accept to use idle toys. These users believe that the use of second-hand toys could protect the environment, be economical, and meet children's iterational needs for toys. Updating the fast demand of iteration and participating in the transformation of idle toys can better solve the problem of disposing idle toys, thus saving the indoor space of the family. 30% of users chose to selectively accept second-hand toys, mainly because of concern about the safety and hygiene of second-hand toys. Such users also said they can accept idle toys from acquaintances. 6% of the respondents could not accept second-hand toys. This part of the respondents believe that they had the ability to buy new toys for their children, so did not need to buy second-hand toys. In Chapter 3, the main parts are design strategy of toy sharing system for children in community, design and implementation of toy sharing system for children in community, design and evaluation of community toy sharing system. Here, I will show you the design strategy of toy sharing system for children in community. Firstly, the strategy of the system design includes four core factors: network platform, idle resource, participants, and trust mechanism. The network platform is the core condition for toy sharing design, which is the basis of established rules, trust, and resource trading in toy sharing design. The idle resource is a precondition and material basis of toy sharing design. The existence of idle toys determines the sustainable operation and development of sharing designs. And the participant is the initiator and terminator. They are not only the supplier, but also the demander depending on their actual needs. The trust mechanism is the biggest factor for the smooth transaction of toy-sharing designs and driving the behavior of both suppliers and consumers. And the realization path is the initiator offers idle toys through network platform, then the terminator receives idle toys. In the process of calculation, the network platform supervises the hygiene condition of idle toys and manages participants. After completing the transaction, both participants gain trust mechanism through the network platform. This is the design and implementation of toy sharing system for children in community. First, the supplier and requester who lives in the community enters the sharing system. Then both of them find their community registered as a user. Then they can publish idle toys on the web, fill in the idle toy information, and the information include material category, play age, functional classification, cognitive classification. The requester accept the idle toys information and communicate with the supplier through the internet. Before trading, the supplier needs to clean the toy before handing it before the requester. After the trading, the requester disinfects the idle toys again. In the process of trading, the register get links and tracks between them is strengthened. After trading, requester can make comments on suppliers. Sustainable community requires us to construct and transform communities from the perspective of environment, economic, and social equity. So, the evaluation principle on the community toy sharing system design follows the value of ecoism, altruism, and biosphere. Community residents can get the value orientation of ecoism by solving the problems caused by piling up of children's toys in their family through toy sharing. Obtain the value orientation and altruism through reducing the toy consumption expenditure and children's demand of fast renewal of new toys, thus relieving the incumbent burden of purchasing children's toys continuously, and obtain the value orientation by biosphere, which pays attention to the environment and the welfare of biosphere. Pursuing a sustainable lifestyle means gradually reducing our consumption of the natural resource of the earth and ensuring that everyone can enjoy goods and survive fairly. Therefore, the design of children's toy sharing system based on sustainable community expects to integrate the concept of sustainable consumption into people's daily life, using the way of sharing to change the way community residents treat the consumption of children's toys in the long run. The toy sharing system is designed for everyone in the community in order to convey the concept of sustainable consumption into the daily life of each resident. This is my research of toy sharing system design in community. Thank you for your patience.